So hello everyone, welcome back to Web Lab course. So I am Mrs. Archana Priyadarshini, Assistant Professor in the Department of ISC, Canara Engineering College. So in this presentation, you will see the two lab programs that are associated with the simple calculator. That is, we are writing a JavaScript code to enhance and develop this calculator, and also we are seeing the next program, that is computing the squares and cubes of numbers. So in this presentation we'll see two concepts, that is writing a JavaScript code for simple calculator based on the simple operations, as well as computation of squares and cubes for numbers. So in this slide, let's see about number object. So this number object is basically, it represents a numerical date, and it can be either integers or floating point numbers. So it converts whatever parameter, whatever uh, input that is given to an integer, or it may be a floating point number. So if the value cannot be converted to a legal number, not a number is written. So this here you can see the basic syntax of creating a number object. So you can use a variable var. So if let's say variable a is declared, you give it a var keyword followed by the variable name a equals. We use a new operator to create a new number object. New followed by number. And this number object has got various methods and properties. So the number properties may be a it may be min value or maximum value, okay, or it may be not a number. So these are all there are several properties associated with this number object, and there are methods associated with this number object. Okay, so to reference any particular property, we write it in this manner, that is object followed by dot, and then method followed by dot, then the property. We can assign the value to the property by equals the value. Okay. So in this slide you can see the usage of number object. So we have got 5 variables here, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 declared, initialized respectively, with values true, false, and having the value of the date associated to variable x3, and x4 is having a string, x5 is also basically string, and which you can observe there is a division in this string. 999 is separate and 888 is separate, so this cannot be probably converted into a number. So if in such case, if the number object is not it's not possible to convert into a number, we get not a number value associated with this variable x1. So here number object is responsible for it is responsible for translating any data value that is given as an input to a number. So here we are associating the value of value of n, value of these values to n, that is number. We are converting number, the x1 variable to a number. The x2 is converted to a number, that is 1. So when you say number of x1, you get 1, followed by a concatenation that is given by plus symbol, and a break, that is you get it in the next line. The next number x2 will be printed in the next line. So number of x2 means false will be converted into a number, that is 0. So coming to the next line, that is number of x3, the date format, the entire date format will be converted to a number. And the fourth one is 999, is a string which will be taken as a number, 999. And the last case, it's not possible for the number to convert it into a number object to convert it into a number, 999. So in the last case, you'll be getting a not a number value. So this is a first lab program, that is we need to write a JavaScript and we need to demonstrate a kind of simple calculator with simple functions like sum, product, difference, and quotient. So basically, in order to say about a JavaScript, first of all we need the script tag, okay, and with the script tag tag we demonstrate some kind of dynamic interaction. So, for example, if the user has put a text box and the user wants to input values to this text box, so this kind of inputs, okay, along with some kind of calculations, like if the user has input 1 and 2 in the text box, if the user checks for addition, so the calculation of this result. So all these things, that is kind of dynamic interaction, right? So all these things will be written in the script tag. So we can write the script tag in the head, within the head tag, or it can be written in the body tag. So as usual, you will have the first statement in an HTML page. So we can embed this JavaScript code in the HTML and we can run it as program name.html. This is how we can execute the program. So first of all, we need to write the doc type HTML, not doc type HTML. But if you do not write also, this will work. But this is the basic structure of an HTML page. Next, we include the HTML tag, and after this HTML tag, we can also include a title for this respective program, and it is optional. Next, we can have the head tag. Within the head tag, you have to write the script tag. So, associated with the script tag, you have the attribute called type, wherein you need to mandatorily give it as text slash JavaScript. So, whatever the interpreter sees within the script tag will be interpreted line by line, not be executed, but it will be interpreted. That means it will understand the meaning and then perform the action. So, first of all, you need two variables, that is to input the first value and to input the second value. So, the variables are declared with the var keyword, okay, any variables. And wherever and when you want, there itself you can dynamically declare the variables actually in JavaScript. But here we have declared before A and B. Okay, these are the two variables wherein the text boxes are created for these two labels A and B, and user can input the values to this text box. And next, to have the result, the display must be given for calculation of these two variables, that is A and B. Okay, so that will be stored in the result. So the result may have the addition of the two numbers, or it may have the product of the two numbers, or it may have difference, or it may have quotient. Okay. So first of all, when the user puts the values in two of the text box that is labeled as A and B, so the text box needs to have the ID associated with it. Okay, it happens to get element by ID. So for that ID, whatever value that text box has got, that label associated with that label A, that will be stored in your variable A. Okay? And whatever text box ID that associated with the label B, okay, so any value that the user inputs in the label B, the JavaScript gets the ID from the text box and converts into number and then stores it in variable B. So all these things must be done within the script. Why? Because dynamically user gives the input and then the input is actually taken as string, but then it has to be converted to number to perform some product difference and quotient. But who does this is number. Okay, we have got the number function that turns the any string to its number. Okay, so whatever input that user gives in the text box for those two labels A and B is taken as a string. Therefore, we need to convert it into a number using number function. So that is given here. Okay, number of document dot get element by ID. Get element by ID is a method, and this method gets the ID associated with that HTML element, and it is done through document object. Okay, so object dot property or object dot methods dot attribute value. So here, just if we get the element by ID, it is not enough. The value associated with that ID is important. Therefore, we write it as document dot get element by ID. That label, okay, that label what we have got A in case or B dot value. We should take the value from that text box and then convert it to number. and then finally that number will be stored in variable A and B respectively. This is how we can set the values based on the inputs given in the text box, which are labeled as A and B. So how do you create the text box? That happens next. But what conversion is required when the user puts dynamically in the text box? That is, the set values function should be given in the JavaScript tag. So next concept is add. The add functionality, it happens dynamically. Any number the user may give in the text box, but the result has to be obtained dynamically. Therefore, we include the functions like add, sum, add the product, difference and quotient in the script tag itself. So how do we define the add function is, we first of all take the input whatever is given in the text box, that is we call the set values function wherein it converts into number, and then the result is done explicitly. Result equals a plus b. This is how we calculate the sum, and then give it as a alert box, alert window. In the alert window, you will just get a result, that is the sum associated with the input values. In the next slide, you will see about the product, difference and quotient. So in the previous slide, you have seen about the how to set the values and how to perform the addition. Okay. In here, you will be seeing about subtraction and multiplication. As usual, you need to call the input values. Okay, whatever input values you have given, that has to be converted into number and then stored in respective variables. That is done through a set values function. The same you have to call for every function here, subtraction or multiplication or uh, product or the quotient. Okay, and we have to calculate the result. So the result of the two input values that is given will be stored in the variable result. We have already declared that variable result. Then we pop up a window using alert box. Okay, using this alert function, we just call what is required, that is the sum, or maybe the difference, or it may be the product. Okay, so you can observe the multiplication. So here we have called the set values function and then computed the product of the two variables, values stored in the variables. Then we have given a pop-up window so as to display the product. So this is about division or the quotient. So likewise, you have seen in the previous slides, we have called the set values function. We have not written once again the computation of set values. Just we have called those function. It's like function call, and then we have written what is required in this particular function division. That is, result is calculated as a slash b. So the quotient is displayed in the alert window. So these all functions cover in the script tag, and we close the script tag by slash script. This covers the head tag too. So we are closing the head tag. And then what is written, what is required in the body tag is basically how do you create the text box. So text box is created with the input tag, and we can have the label, that is instead of label we have got id for that input tag. So what is the id? The first id that is required is a. And how should the text box interpret as? So type should be text. So you can observe here, whatever input that you take is taken as a string or it is taken as a text. Therefore you had got number function which is required to convert that string into a number. So input id equals a, type is equal to text. So you have got two labels created now, a and b, and their input type is text. And next you need to have the another button associated with all the functionalities, that is add, subtract, multiplication and division. So you need to have a button and button value, that is the first button value that is created is sum, the second value, so or the name that is given to the second button is difference, the third button will have the name that is product, fourth will have quotient. And but when you click on that button, there should be some functionality called. So how do you perform that, how do you include that functionality here? In the button tag itself you have the on click. okay, on click event, that is called when you click the button sum. So when you click the button sum, add functionality is called. So you give it as on click equals add, okay, in the quotes. The same thing it is applied to subtraction, multiplication and division. So these things are written in the body tag itself. So these all will be displayed in the HTML page, but the functionalities will be calculated internally, it will not be displayed. So that is the meaning of interpretation. Okay, so this covers your HTML page. So how do you execute this program is save the program file and file name .html in any editor, or it may be in any notepad, and then you can run this program directly in the browser. So when you look into the browser, so you can observe the result of the previous code. You can observe the result of the previous code. You can see that two text boxes are created and respective buttons associated with the code, that is sum, difference, quotient and product. And let's say the user input two values, okay, it may be negative or positive values. So here we have inputted 2 1 and 2 as values, and it will click when you click the button, so it may be sum or it may be difference. So respective JavaScript code is called, that is sum. For sum you have got add functionality that is called behind, and then that functionality is calculated. It will calculate the result of sum 1 plus 2, it is 3. It will be displayed as a alert window. So in this alert window you can observe the user has provision to say okay after he completes the process. In the next trial, the user can check for other input values and perform the calculations for different buttons like difference or quotient or product. So here you can observe some of the modifications done to the previous code. So we have given a color to the heading, we have included a heading basically, and heading to be of the bigger font, larger font, and some changes like the labels are given to the text box. Let's say label A is having the value 1, label B associated with the text box. Okay, for each text box you are giving a label, and for the text box you are inputting the values. You can observe two different text boxes are associated one after the other. So and there are 4 buttons. Whenever the user inputs the values, it is JavaScript code associated with that particular button will be executed, and the alert window will display the result. You can observe the result is -1 for these input values. So there are several variations. You can do several modifications to the web page by including a color or by including an image or changing the font styles. You can include CSS in the HTML page, or you can do some different changes. You can change the layout of the particular web page. So here let's see the second program. The second question is all about you need to calculate the squares and cubes of the numbers. So the numbers are from 0 to 10. This is the range. So you need to calculate the square of that number. For example, you have got 0. So close to that number, you need to have this square and the cube that is being calculated. So in the table form. So here they have told you to display the text. Okay, that you need to output the HTML text that displays the resulting values in a table format. For example, in the first row you need to have the square of 0 and the cube of 0. In the next row you need to have the square of 1 and the cube of 1. In the next row you need to have the square of 2 and cube of 2. So basically you need to construct 2 columns, one for squares and one for cubes. So what actually is the idea here is we can have the head tag. Okay, we can have the head tag, and the main thing here is the script tag we have included in the body tag. That is, we want these contents to be displayed in the HTML page itself. Okay, we do not want them to be interpreted. We just want them to be within the body tag. We want them to be displayed in the web page. So we include the script tag in the body tag itself. So first tag that we include here is HTML, followed by the head tag, and we want the title to be displayed in the center. So therefore we include the center tag, that's also tag in the head tag. Okay, so that tag can be included within the head tag. So in case we want the display to be within the center of the HTML page, so we include the center tag that can be included in the head tag. Okay, what is the content we want? We want the content that is squares and cubes of the numbers from 0 to 10. Okay, these are the things we want to be displayed in the center. And after that, we want a table that will have the columns square and cube. Okay, so the first heading is square, the second heading is cube. Fine. So basically you have to include the script tag, the script followed by the type. Okay, type attribute which has the value text slash javascript to say that the code within the script tag is should be interpreted. So next we can have the variable to keep track of each row. Okay, we use the variable n here, and n is 0 initially. Okay, so first for the zeroth row, for the first row, for the second row, and so on up till 9, or so on up till 10, we can compute all these 11 rows. So where and when we want, we can insert the rows. Okay, so we can also include a loop so that whenever we want to insert the row, that particular code is included. So here where n is equal to 0, so this represents the initial value. So next let's say we want to include the table in the web page. So we want to write the table. So the method here is write. Okay, write is a method of document object. So we include here document dot write followed by what is to be included in the web page. That is, let's say we want break. Okay, break tag here we have included, which inserts a space actually, which inserts a space after the heading. Okay, break tag, and then we have included the table tag here, right, followed by the border attribute. So border is 1, it represents the thickness of the table border. So here it is set to 1 pixel. Okay, table border equals 1, and we want the table itself to align at the center, therefore we include align attribute. Align equals center. So this is how we can specify the table alignment. Okay, close to the table tag we can have attributes like border or align or any other attributes. Okay, so next we want to include the columns. So let's create rows. Basically for the first row we say it as tr tag, and that row will have got heading which is included by th tag. And what is the name of the heading? Square. Okay, that is the first heading, so close of that th tag. Okay, so close to the first heading you have got within the same row itself you have got another heading. Then you open another th tag and you give the specific name, that is q. So then you close the th tag. So this completes one entire row, so thereby you have to close the tr tag. Okay, this completes one row. What should be written in the next row is your data. What should be the data for square column? What should be data for cube column? So that is in the first row of after the heading, what you need to have is the square value associated with 0. Okay, close to that you need to have the cube value associated with the 0. So you can, in the next slide you can observe we have taken a loop, for loop, from ranging from 0 to 10. Okay, that is what they have asked. So ranging from 0 to 10, we need to find the square and cube value associated with each one of them. That is, for the first row we need to write document dot write of tr. So this is the first row after the heading, so we include the tr tag, then followed by the data. What data has to be included? That is nothing but your square of 0, right? So we write td, we use td tag, followed by what computation is required for each row. In the first data cell, you need to compute n into n, that is the square. Then we close the td tag. So that completes one cell. Okay. So what should be written in the next cell? So next cell, that is, once again you open the td tag, then you include the computation, that is n into n into n. So you need to find the cube in the second cell. Okay, so then you close the td tag and this completes one row. So slash tr, likewise you need to do the same process up till remaining 1 to 10 rows, right? So we have completed with 0th row. Next the same process has to be completed for 1 to 10, so you write it in a loop. Okay, instead of writing these two statements each time for each rows 1 to 10, we include a loop here, for loop. So after completing the entire table, you need to notify it, the browser, by including a closing table tag. This is must. So document dot write of table, close of the table slash table. So this is how we include the close of the table tag. So this completes your entire script. Therefore, you are closing the script tag, and finally the body tag, and finally the HTML tag. So in the next slide, you will see the corresponding result. So as per the previous code that is written, we get the heading that is centered here in a web page. The heading name is squares and cubes of numbers from 0 to 10. Okay, from 0 to 10. Next, after that we have included braid tag that will insert a space after the heading, and then we have the table inserted here with the respective column square and cube and its associated data values. Square of 0 will be 0, square of cube of 0 will be 0, square of 1 will be 1, cube of 1 will be 1 again, square of 2 is 4, cube of 2 is 8. Likewise, you have all the row inserted with their respective values from 0 to 10. So you can also change the design and layout of this web page by including respective properties.